and gentlemen, ElijahTindall.
Bring it now! Hey, Houston! I came to tell you guys a story, because that's what I do. I tell stories. This story includes me and my 3 kids. We're sitting in an SUV, my SUV, paid off, because I'm like that. It got towed away. My daughter, Destiny, is sitting in the passenger seat. This was a few years back, okay? So let me describe Destiny. Destiny, she's one of those, like, want to save the planet kind of people. You know what I'm talking about? She wants to save the earth. She wants to save the planet. She's not quite a tree hugger, but I can see her looking at them. So there she is, sitting right there, okay? And then my son, Evan. Evan, he's a normal guy. Evan, he was a little younger then, and he had that look in his eye where if Destiny wants to save the earth, Evan has that thing that guys have on the inside of them where we want to save the people of the earth. I know there's some men in here, you've already scanned the room when, you've already said if something breaks out, I know exactly what to do. Some of us guys, we hope something breaks out. We take it upon ourselves to sit with our back toward everything so we can look at stuff. Like, come on, man, we're at Chili's. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's going to happen? Fajitas are going to come out too sizzling? What's going on over there? Evan, he's got that superhero thing. Listen, women, I don't know how it works for you, but I can tell you how it works for a guy. In the male species, we were born with this internal superhero soundtrack. It sounds like this. Men, get ready for that gleam in your eye. It sounds like this. Bum, ba, bum. That's what it sounds like. The soundtrack on the inside of our souls. Bum, ba, bum. It causes us to rise to the occasion. Bum, ba, bum. We wear underoos with superhero logos on them. Bum, ba, bum. Now, as we get older, the sound, life happens. It's still in there, but it's more like a wah, wah, wah. You know what I'm saying? It's still, we just got to tune it up. Bum, ba, bum. So, Destiny wants to save the earth. Evan wants to save the people of the earth. And then there's my youngest, Layla. Layla Rose, she's not so interested in saving the earth or the people of the earth. She's more interested in what she can set on fire. She's my child. And there we are. We're at a 4-way intersection. 3 lanes are going this way, 3 lanes coming back this way, 3 lanes this way, 3 lanes this way. We're all stopped. I'm only wanting to turn right. I am the first vehicle waiting in line to turn right. All I've got to do is turn right. Why am I wanting to go turn right? Because I've got hot dogs in the car that I'm going to prepare for the kids. I'm going to make a homemade meal with hot dogs because I'm a good dad. Your words, not mine. And I'm just waiting to turn right. But I can't do that because everyone's at a complete standstill. And we're all stopped because of this one sound that I hear. Now, some of you are going to identify this sound, and some of you are going to be fooled thinking you identify the sound, as I was. The sound is this. Now, I thought, being from the South, that was a mosquito. Because in the South, we have those fly-by mosquitoes, and those make you look foolish in front of everybody. Those are like, no one else can see it. And it wasn't that, but it sounded like, and so I looked over, and that's when I saw what it was. It was this young man, and he's coming across the lanes, and he's got he's on one of these Razor scooters. You remember those Razor scooters? But what he's done is he has makeshifted a little motor on the back of this Razor scooter. Like he's put, now this was before, I know we're all familiar now with the scooters around town, everyone's on this isn't that. This is him taking it upon himself to create, all he had to do was walk that day. That was too much. No, he didn't want to walk, so he could have done this. And that's the thing, he's in his early 20s. What guy in their early 20s is this too much? Just stay home. But he's made this little makeshift, and I know it sounds cool. I'm a tinkerer. I like that kind of stuff. It sounds really cool, but it doesn't sound cool, is what I'm saying. Because see, I'm a Harley guy. Like I like big bikes, and I cannot lie. I like them. You could have done anything that you wanted with the sound of the scooter. You could baffle out the little tailpipe thing. He's like, you could have made it. Listen, I was raised in a church culture, but not just a church culture. I was raised in a Pentecostal church culture. I want my motorized scooter to sound like it has the Holy Ghost. You know what I'm saying? I want that thing speaking to the Shandalabakota. I want that. You could have done that. Instead, you made it a seeker-sensitive. But it's your scooter, dude. That's fine. Because he's trying to expedite the process. He wants to get from one place in his life to another place, and he's trying to expedite this process. And now we have to sit and watch as he. And I'm like, I just want to turn right. That's all I want to do. I just want to turn right. But then I hear the sound change. It goes from to now it's like that. And I think, oh, he's kicking back on that throttle. Now I'm getting some respect for this young man. But the look on his face indicates he didn't do this on purpose. The look on his face was like that. He was terrified. And he starts to shake like that. And my daughter, Destiny's like, Dad, we should help him. I was like, that's not our job. That's not our role. He chose this life. And when he was shaking, we're about 90 cars deep. About 5 cars are pulling up. They're like, hey, what's going on? We're like, not right now. And he's like that. And the front wheel begins to lift off the ground. It sounds like a cool wheelie, but it's not a cool wheelie. And what he does is he lifts his back leg up off of the scooter, and he lifts, and he does this, exactly this. At that moment, I have a flashback of a younger, 19-year-old ElijahTindall. 2 o'clock in the morning at the Walmart's parking lot. I say the Walmart's because I told you I'm half Mexican. And my nana said, mijo, come on, we're going to go to the Walmart's. Everybody get it. Nana, there's 14 of us. Sit in the speaker, the 6x9, the Jensen, and then your cousin Chewy, he'll sit in the Pioneer. And we were there at 2 o'clock in the morning, me and my friend Daniel, because we had a discussion earlier that day. The discussion was, I wonder how fast we can go on a skateboard holding on to the back bumper of a vehicle. And we needed a big empty parking lot. Thus, 2 o'clock in the morning at the Walmart's parking lot. I was the first to try and the last. I held the back bumper of that car. I was nervous. I was that kind of nervous. You guys are all from the South. You know what tubing is, right? Tubing. You've been tubing? Tubing, yeah, where your loved ones and your friends try to injure you inadvertently with water. You know what I'm saying? Like there's something that happens in their eyes. They're like, because okay, go, and you're nervous, you know, and they're like, like it's just, what are you doing? What's wrong with you? And I was that kind of nervous, and I was holding on to that back bumper. And let me describe kind of what I was wearing, because this was the late 80s, early 90s. I was a glam rock person. I loved 80s. I loved glam rock. I loved the big hair. I loved the tight clothes. But then Depression rock came. Depression rock, everything got big, and this was that era, and I had the big jeans on, the Jinko jeans. Anyone remember Jinko jeans? Yeah. The Jinko jeans. Jinko jeans were so big, you could take 5 steps, no one knew you moved. I had my Jinko jeans on, had a Depeche Mode t-shirt on, yeah. had these big, long dreadlocks. Not the appropriate kind of dreadlocks either. I'm talking about the real dreadlocks. You know what I'm saying? Like, there were creatures inside. I could see them every now and then. Like, what's going on out here? Like, you get back in there. And I had Doc Martens on. Why? Because they're Doc Martens and they're cool, you know? I should mention I had this gauged earring with a chain that went all the way down to my nose ring. It was connected right there. And you'll understand why I'm mentioning that in only moments. I give him the thumbs up, the Mountain Dew, ow, thumbs up. And Daniel starts to press on the gas. And here, starting to roll. They just roll. And now my Jinko jeans are starting to flap patriotically. And I can feel it. I can feel the grunge metal rising up on it. You know, you have those moments where it sounds like your soundtrack is on the inside of you playing, and I can feel, and I'm and it's feeling so good, and even dreadlocks are starting to, so you know I'm going pretty fast, but the dreadlocks start to go. I was on a 1986 skateboard, a Santa Cruz deck that I spray painted black and got a paint pen and wrote Holy Roller on. In Old English letters, because I'm Mexican. And I'm rolling, and then something starts to happen. Skaters call it a death wobble. It's this little uncontrolled thing, and you're like, and I don't know what I'm going to do. But I thought, well, maybe it'll go away. But he's continuing to accelerate. It's not going away. And like that. And so I know in my heart, I've got to come up with a plan. Why? Because I'm a man, and that's what we do. Doesn't mean it's going to be a good plan, but it's going to be a plan. And my plan was, I'm going to let go of this bumper because I think that'll slow me down. I'm told I let go of the bumper at 36 miles an hour. Thank you. Someone responded appropriately. Because a lot of people were like, 36, that's nothing. You've never been in a Walmart's parking lot holding onto the back bumper on the Holy Roller as it's like, we shall not harbor thee any longer. I didn't even know you're British. And I let go. The moment I let go, it got extremely worse. Now I'm just, it was horrible. So I knew, obviously, I've got to come up with a plan. Why? Because I'm a man. That's why I do the deep voice. So my plan was this. My plan was, if I can step off of this skateboard and start running as fast as I can. And I thought, you're Mexican, you can do this, man. And I thought, here I meet on the ice, let's go. I was, and the moment my toes touched, I was flying through the, I was just flying. There are creatures coming out of the, we ain't sticking around for this, man. We didn't sign up for, and I was doing that thing where, you know how when something bad starts happening to you, it starts happening in slow motion. You ever had that? Where like you're in a car accident and then you have that slow motion and you hear him talk. I just saw my life flash before my eyes. That was God giving us time to make things right. It's that slow motion I was having, and it's always different. Like it's always, if you talk to people who saw a car wreck, like, yeah, that lady just rear-ended that guy. It's no big deal. But you talk to the lady in there, and she's like, I woke up that morning, and I knew something was not right, and I said, not today, Satan, not today. And I got in my car, and I was like, in the name of Jesus, I place a hedge of protection around everyone I know. And I got in my car, and I got behind this vehicle, and I saw them pressing that brake lights, and I was like, no, you don't. I will put a safe distance between me and you. And they kept on. They continued, and so I put more distance. And then I saw a little squirrel come out the side of the freeway, and I was like, look at you, little squirrel. You're so adorable. You're so cute. Your eyes. Why do they call you a rodent? Why do they hunt you, little squirrel? What, they want a taco? And then I looked up, and when I looked up, I saw the brake lights, and I was like, oh, no, and I slammed, oh, and the CDs were flying, and then a hot dog came out. I was like, where'd that hot dog come from? I remember a hot dog. Outside, yeah, that lady hit that guy. I was now in the air. In slow motion. If it was appropriate, I'd sing a little I Believe I Can Fly by R. Kelly, but I can't do that now because he's messed up. So, and as I'm making my descent toward the ground, I think to myself, I've got to come up with a plan. Why? Because I'm a man. That's what men do. And so my plan was now, this is going to sound very, like it's going to make sense to every guy in this room. My plan was to do something called the tuck and roll. Right? Tuck and roll. Tuck and roll. All you've got to do, you can jump off any building, no matter how high, as long as right before you land, you tuck down and you roll out of it. And then you continue to go fight crime. That's what you do. It's the tuck and roll. And I thought, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm in the air, and I'm going. I knew that I needed an extra momentum, and so I grab my hand with this hand, and I pull myself over. And as I pull myself all the way over, I execute it perfectly. If my plan was to drive my face into the concrete at 36 miles an hour. Now let's just pretend that this right here is my face, and this is my feet. This represents the lower half of my body. Instead of me just hitting and like this, I, with 36 miles an hour of speed, was now scraping across. These wouldn't go down. Remember the chain that was going from here to here? It's scraping. I look like a lowrider car show on the south side of Houston. And I'm starting to, and now my shirt is just being torn, and my Jinko's rent, Old Testament style. And then finally, my Doc Martens hit the ground, and they stop me. Why? Because they're Doc Martens and they're cool. But I'm laying there, and as I'm laying there, it's that feeling that we've all had. I'll describe it like this. That, you know what I'm talking about? Where you're knocked out, all the wind has been knocked, and everyone does the same thing. They gather around you. They always say, they always go, dude, just breathe. Just breathe. Okay. Like we weren't trying. What do you, let me take it. Come on. Just breathe. And in between the, I hear, now I can't see from this side of my face because I've been welded shut. So I look with this eye, and what I see is the holy roller. Somehow it got turned around, and it's coming back to finish me off. And the holy roller struck my face. No! I'm trying to warn the guy. It's too late. He has lifted his back leg off of the scooter, and now he has just taken flight into the air. But he forgot to let go of the scooter. He's just flying, and the scooter's doing that, like that on his shins, you know what I'm talking about? He's just in the air, about 10 feet in the air, about 15 feet in front of me. He's just like that. No car. It's probably 110 cars that have pulled up now, and every one of us are just... I was doing the same thing that any noble, respectable man would do. I was like, record, come on. I couldn't get my phone to work. And my daughter was like, Dad. And I said, behold, my child, the Lord has blessed us this day. And this guy, and he's just, and he lets go of the scooter. And as he lets go of the scooter projects out in front of him. And it hits this telephone pole. And in pieces. It's just scattering all over. Had he just walked that day. But he had to do it. He had to put and now everyone's watching, and his scooter, the thing's just in pieces all over the place. And there's still one player left in this game. He's right up there. Making his way in the direct path of that scooter, and he strikes this telephone pole about 10 feet high. His leg is just on each side of it, like that. He's wearing these slip-on shoes, and one shoe on this side just flies in the air as he's stuck to the pole. And it flies, and it lands, and I'm saying, please don't. It lands right on the edge of the hood of my truck. And then it rolls off. And I'm thinking, now I'm involved. Now I'm part of this story. When they talk about it, I'm part of the story. Now, I can't just turn right and go feed my kids hot dogs because this guy tried to expedite his process, and now his shoe but he's still stuck to this pole. And now he starts to slide down this wooden telephone pole. And you can see the blood. So, I learned something about us that day, my friends. You ever had a garage sale at your house? You ever had a yard sale? Yeah. Pretty good about putting those signs up, huh? We think we're good about taking them down, but we're not. Because we think if we just remove the thing that says yard sale, that it's over. But these little sloppily placed nails that are sticking halfway out the pole, and that giant staple, we just kind of put it up like that, and then we just grab the thing. It's over. But I don't even know why we run like that. That's not how we normally run. And now he's becoming one with thousands of garage sales of Ventura County past. And it's just, and he finally strikes the ground. We're about 120 cars deep now, and everyone's just watching him. And as he lands, he's going, and we're all doing the same thing in our car. You can see it everywhere you look. We're all going like this. We dare not say it out loud. It's too soon. You got to read the room, you know? And he's just down there. And he starts to pick himself up. And he's just like, he's doing like that walk, the Saturday night Captain Jack Sparrow. He's stumbling around, and he's dazed, he's confused, he's looking around. And remember, he's bloody, okay? The guy's covered with blood now. And he realizes, as he looks down, that he's missing a shoe, so now he's scanning the ground, looking for his shoe. And as he's looking for his shoe, he sees it over by my truck. Now, us sitting there with our windows down. Here's the problem. We can't roll the windows up at this point. It's just rude. Like, oh, you have a spill there? We didn't see. Like, you can't do that. But he's also only feet from my daughter, my teenage daughter, bloody, and he's like, he's making his way. I'm self-employed. I can't afford a therapist for her also. And he's making his way, and he finally gets to my truck, He lays his bloody elbow on the hood of my truck. Now there's DNA involved. Everyone's a victim now. This guy could just say, I hit him. No one's going to speak against him. Believe all bloody men. No one's going to say anything. And he's leaning and he reaches down and he gets his shoe. And as he picks it up, he struggles to get it on his foot. And he just he collapses like that, just right beside us. And he's sitting there for maybe 30 seconds. And no one's going. No, we've quit paying attention. We're 140 cars in now, and everyone's just like, "Oh my gosh, what's going to become of this young man?" His stuff's all over the ground. There he is. He's bloody, and he's just leaning. And then he starts to shake like this. Like, what's he doing? He's only feet from me. And I was thinking, is he having a seizure? Is this an elaborate, flash mob introduction that is a breakdance team about to come out? What's happening? And as he stands all the way up, we can all see what's happening. We can see that he is laughing uncontrollably at this. Now he's crying also, but he's laughing uncontrollably at this. And as we see that he chose in this moment, this had to be the worst thing that happened to him that week. You know what I'm saying? Like, in front of everybody, he has now hit the pole, and he's out of breath. His mode of transportation, it's in pieces, it's in shambles, and there he is in front of everybody as we watch, and he chooses in that moment to laugh. Anyway, when we saw that, something happened in us. It's like a spirit of celebration. We were like, he liveth. We were like honking. We were so excited. We were so excited. He wasn't even brown. He wasn't Mexican. We're like, even the white people will celebrate you. We were so excited. Dick Clark was in the corner. Confetti was going. It was so exciting. And I learned something about us through that guy. And that's what this special's about. The special's about this. It's about our need to choose to laugh anyway. It's about realizing that not just one of us, but all of us have hit the pole. We've all done something in our journey to expedite the process and then been embarrassed in front of everybody. And it's his choice to laugh anyway. So what this special's about, yeah, sure, it's about laughing, but it's to remind you, everyone in this room and everybody out there, just breathe. My name's Elijah. Thank you.